Hello everyone, I hope everyone is having a great day when they start watching this video. Today we're going to be starting to discuss metric conversions and how to go from for example, a kilogram to just a gram and just convert back and forth. So, some questions as always that I like to start with is, when would we need to convert? Does this ever happen maybe in your life? Have you ever had an experience where you're given something and need it in a different unit? Maybe you wanted to know how many centimeters you were, but you were tall, but you only had how many meters you were. And so you wanted to convert in between those, or maybe you want something in milliliters, but it's given in liters. So those are just some of the questions, some of the times to kind of draw it back to maybe our real life that we've seen. Also, if anyone can remember, we've talked about some of our base metric units, or just kind of used them, but can anyone remember what they are? Our base ones are our meter, liter, and gram. So that's just some things to get us started thinking about what we're going to be talking about. Some of the objectives. So by the end of the day, I hope we can be able to understand our metric system prefixes and then be able to convert between our units easily. So I have a video that does a good job explaining our metric conversion, so please go watch that right now. So pause this video and go watch that link. I also wanted to show this chart. This tells us everything we're going to need to know for our metric conversions. So, like our video showed us, they said that our abbreviations are King Henry, or way to help us remember which one everything is. King Henry died unusually drinking chocolate milk. There's a couple different variations of died or doesn't, usually, or died unusually, but the idea is it's a way for us to remember. The biggest unit is our K, our King Henry, our first one, and it stands for kilo. Henry stands for hecto. Died stands for deca. Our unusual, or our unit, sometimes you'll see this as our base, so died by drinking, but unit or base unit is just whatever we're going to be measuring in. Drinking is our deci, chocolate is centi, and milk is milli. So our smallest prefix is our milli. It's anytime we hear milli, we're thinking very small things. So a millimeter is something. We have a little picture of an ant or a bug down here because they're so small, versus a big, this almost looks like some kind of robot or a big king next to a little person. So our big size is over on the kilo. Our milli is as small as we get. This works for every base unit. Every meter, liter, or gram all work with these prefixes, which is awesome that they decided to do it this way. It makes a lot of sense, and I really enjoy it because it can, you can very easily remember different sizes. So, for example, if I heard something is 10 centimeters, I can understand that visually better than if someone told me it was 10 inches, because maybe I'm not sure what an inch is, but I know, okay, a meter is about a meter stick, or is about the wingspan of someone. So if it's 100 times smaller than that, it's pretty small. It's about the length of our fingertips. So those are our basic ones. This I think it's an anagram is the correct word, but this little way to remember is going to be really important for us as we go forward. To remember, our kilo is the biggest, and then we go hecto, deca, our base unit, deci, centi, and milli. So it all works on a base 10. So this one, so if our base unit is 1, our next largest is 10 units larger or 10 units smaller. And then the one 2 times over is 10 times 10, so it's 100 times smaller or 100 times bigger, and then 1,000 times smaller or 1,000 times bigger. So we're going to talk through how to get through each one of them. I think this is really important to, though, remember, like I said, King Henry died unusually drinking chocolate milk is are kilo, hecto, deca, base unit, deci, centi, and milli. So each time we move up or down a term, we are multiplying or dividing by 10. So if, for example, I started at meters and wanted to go to decimeters, I would be I'd be multiplying by 10. When we move smaller, when we move to the right, we're going to multiply by 10 because we start with something big and we're just going to smaller units. So that just means we have a lot more of them. So we're multiplying. If we start at something smaller and want to use bigger units, we're going to have less of them. So we divide if we're going to the left. We multiply if we're going to the right. So for example, how many decimeters are in 1 meter? We would say, because we'd start in meter on our base unit, we would multiply by 10. And so instead of having 6.7 meters is the same as saying we have 76 decimeters. So it's as easy as just moving a decimal point. But I want you guys to understand where it comes from. We're moving a decimal point because every time we multiply or divide by 10, we move our decimal point either to the left or to the right. So this is going to be a really important figure to help us remember. And I like this idea of a staircase as it goes down. So as we're going down our staircase or going to the right, we're going to be multiplying by 10. And as we're going up the staircase, we have to divide by 10. So some examples that we're going to work through. So if we are given 2 centimeters and we want to go to meters, so we're given 2 centimeters and we want to go to meters, we're going to start at centimeter right here, and then we're going to go up our staircase. So we would divide by 10 to get to decimeter, and then divide by 10 to get to our base unit. So we would divide by 10, and then divide by 10 again. If we had a decimal point, if we could see it, it would be right here next to this 2. So dividing by 10 would make it go to the left 1, and then to the left again. So we would get 0.02 meters. Let's do another one. We're starting at millimeter and going to centimeter. So we would divide by 10. So if we had 40 millimeters and we want to know how many centimeters we are, what's 40 divided by 10? We just divide by 10 once. 40 divided by 10 is 4. So we'd have 4 centimeters. One more example. Now we're going to start at the top. We're going to start with kilogram and go down to the middle, our base unit of meters. So kilometers to meters, we're going to have to go multiply by 10, multiply by 10, multiply by 10. So we would do 1, 2, 3 steps. So it would multiply by 10, multiply by 10, multiply by 10, and that would end up being 6,000 meters. So let's do this some more with our other one. So we start with decimeter and we want to go to meters. So we're going to move, we can also do it by just moving decimal points. So we can move our decimal point to the left 1 spot because we're dividing by 10 once. So we have 1 step and we're going up, so we're going to move the decimal point to the left. We're moving to the left, so we're going to move the decimal point to the left on our little staircase. So that's 0.4 meters. Another example, we have 60 meters and we want to go to centimeters. So we're going down the staircase 1, 2, we're going to the right, so we can move our decimal point 2 spots to the right, 1, 2. And that would end up being, oh, I forgot to put the answer. Or I just messed up the answer. Let me change that real fast. Sorry, guys. So we started with 60 meters and we would end with 6. If we're going to move to the right, we would end with, we'd end with 6,000. So we're multiplying by 10 to add a 0, and we're going to multiply by 10 again to add another 0. So we're going to add 2 zeros to what we started with. Our last one is we're going to start with a hectometer, and we want to go to decimeter. So for up here, we go 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps. So we're going to move our decimal point 3 spots to the right. So we would go 1, 2, 3, and then fill it in with zeros. So if our decimal started here, we went 1 decimal point, 2 decimal point, 3 decimal points right here. So that's a little bit of an easier way. If it works for you to think about multiplying by 10 and dividing by 10, that's easier. Sometimes I think that's easier for me. but using our decimal points is also another way. So we will be working on this together. I will be showing some more examples in our next class. So if you guys have some more questions as we continue to learn, please let me know. And as always, have a great rest of your day.